Good morning, it's 7 a.m. and I want to show you something. Okay, random one. G, C, B flat, C sharp. Let's try to make it random. E, A, D, D sharp, F sharp, and finally A flat, A flat. Okay, why am I showing you this at 7 in the morning? That was all 12 tones of our Western musical scale. And why am I showing this to you first thing in the morning, 7 a.m.? I haven't done anything else except go to the bathroom. So why am I showing this to you? The reason I'm showing this to you is because you know how doctors say that throughout the night while we're sleeping, our bodies naturally deplete our fluids, and doctors say that it's good and healthy to have a glass of water when you first wake up in the morning to help replenish your body's fluids, because we're made of 90% or more water or something like that, mostly water. So it's important to stay hydrated, and especially first thing in the morning, because throughout the night we do deplete a lot of fluids. And that's why I'm showing you this at 7 in the morning, because I found that when I do this exercise first thing in the morning, it's like nurturing and replenishing and watering my ears. And I find that my musical activities for the rest of the day are a lot more, are a lot easier, are more rewarding, are more enjoyable when I take the time to and spend the time with the raw materials of our craft, which are the 12 tones of our musical scale. You know, we tend to sort of rush through music, and what I mean by that is when we focus primarily on relative pitch, we're very much just kind of focusing on the surface level of musical perception. Relative pitch is the relationship between two or more notes. It's the harmonies, it's the chord progressions moving along throughout a song. And when we're working on this stuff, it's really good to have, and it's very important to understand and know your relative pitch and music theory and all that. But it's equally important to know your raw materials, which are the individual tones themselves. There's something profoundly beautiful about becoming intimately familiar with every nuance, feeling, quality, characteristic, flavor, and color of each tone of our musical scale. They each have their own beauty and personality and feeling, and it's indescribably rewarding and satisfying to get to know them. I wasn't born with what they call perfect pitch, and I've had to develop this with diligence and practice. I have a couple of problems with the term perfect pitch because I went to school for music, and I've had professors tell me that you have to be born with it, and worst of all, you cannot develop it as an adult. Well, I had a problem with their first assertion because if you have to be born with it, the question that then comes to mind is, who is born already knowing the names of these pitches? Who's born knowing how to name red, red, or blue, blue? You have to, at some point, you have to learn to identify them and to label them the correct names. So that first assertion that you have to be born with it just went right out the window because it made no sense at all. Once I answered that question for myself, I set out to go and find out if it can indeed be learned or not. And what I have found is, thankfully, it can be learned. It is a skill that can be developed by anyone at any age with diligence and practice. People are not perfect. Human beings are not perfect. That's the other reason I don't like the term perfect pitch. I'd like to cancel that term and call it something else. Maybe color hearing, or pitch feeling, because each note has a feeling, okay? But not perfect pitch. Nobody's perfect. I have seen Charlie Puth, for example, make an error on public television, and that's perfectly okay because nobody is perfect. Charlie Puth has an incredibly fantastic perception for music, but this is a perception that we all have. If you can hear, then you have hearing perception. Now, if you happen to train that ear at a very young age, then of course you have an advantage. People like Charlie Puth and Jacob Collier, their parents were musicians, mine weren't. And not everybody has musicians for parents. And not everyone is going to pick these things up at an early age. Not everyone's going to be taught these things at an early age. But that doesn't mean that all hope is lost. So I'm making this video at 7 in the morning to encourage you, anyone out there who wants to make music or is already making music, that if anyone comes to you and says that you cannot develop perfect pitch, or cancel that out and call it color hearing, that just ignore them. Because every single second, every moment spent listening and soaking in the raw materials of our craft is well worth the time and effort to do it. Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, all the way up to Duke Ellington, Aretha Franklin, and Mariah Carey and Stevie Wonder. These people have perfect pitch or color hearing, and it's worth it. It's worth the time to develop. So I want to encourage you, don't let the naysayers stop you from doing ear training for this perception. Because remember, relative pitch is important, but that's only half the picture. It's like relative pitch is getting the forms in focus. So like a black and white TV is relative pitch without color hearing. With color hearing, it's even more rich. Once I developed this ability, my relationship to music just deepened and became more meaningful and more enjoyable. And I think everyone deserves to experience this same exact feeling and perception of music. It's the most enjoyable thing. If you love music now without color hearing, wait till you hear music with color hearing. It's like watching color TV for the first time. So if you like this video, I hope it encourages you. If you have any questions or want to know more, please leave your questions in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. All right, bye for now.